Incoming. Game over.
What is up? What is up? What is up? Game over Edmonton. We are on the air after a Edmonton Oilers 4-1 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. 3 in a row. They have won 3 in a row. 8 goals in their past 2 games. Dare I say, Edmonton is starting to finally get their consistency. 2 wins in which they come from behind and get 2 big road wins. In a game in which Edmonton's depth stepped up in a major way. I'm Avry Lewis-McDougall here, once again, back-to-back games for your boy at the controls of Game Over Edmonton on the Game Over Network. Please, as always, like, subscribe, and comment to all of our Game Over channel content. We love creating content for you on all of our different shows, especially our flagship show, Hyperdrive Hockey. Please check it out, Hyperdrive Hockey. They cover all things hockey across multiple leagues, across multiple countries, whatever it is, wherever it is. Max, Daphne, and Kevin have you covered for all your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. You can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel or wherever you find your favorite podcasts, on the Hyperdrive Hockey page, and also on the GameOverNetwork.com page. Yes, fun stuff. Tap into Hyperdrive Hockey every Tuesday and Friday. Great show they do. Wonderful show. So, Edmonton, 4-1 winners over Colorado in a game in which I mentioned off the top right there, the Oilers played from behind, but full credit to this team's depth scoring. It was a game in which, on both sides of the puck, the top line guys weren't scoring. It wasn't a busy night for McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman. It was a bigger night for Edmonton for guys like Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson, Vasily Podkolzin, Kasperi Kapanen gets his first goal as an Edmonton Oiler. And again, Vasily Podkolzin, his third goal. He scored in 3 straight games as an Oiler. I mentioned last night, the dam is going to break for Podkolzin. And, oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? Your Uncle Avry told you Vasily Podkolzin would break on through, and he's done it. He has done it. He once again stepped up as an offensive force that can contribute on nights when McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, etc., can't find a way or have a quiet night. That's a really good sign for this team going forward if Vasily Podkolzin can keep this kind of play up. Great sign. A great sign for the Oilers. And also, too, I mentioned how beforehand, this is a team that already needs more guys beyond the big name step up, which was key for them last year in the postseason. Getting it before that, getting depth scoring before the postseason, getting it now in late November, early December, when you're trying to secure yourself into a playoff spot in the Western Conference, that is a great thing to see. That's a wonderful thing to see for the Oilers. So, they keep that up, that'll be a major positive sign. And also, too, you got production tonight from Ty Emberson. You got an assist from him. You got Kasperi Kapanen's first goal as an Oiler. You got Brett Kulak. Brett Kulak is finding the nose for the net. And we know Brett Kulak's game isn't about being offensive. We know it's more about being that steady defensive D-man. But for some reason this year, Brett Kulak has found a way with a bit of offensive flair. He's got 5 goals on the season. Could you imagine a Brett Kulak 5-goal game? That would have been something else. That would have been wild. That would have been fun. He would have been the first D-man with a 5-goal game. But no, Brett Kulak, 5 goals so far tonight, on pace for a career high in goals. And I see we got the comments here. I see Janias McKay is in here. How you doing? We'll get to your comments also too. But yeah, pods. It's been fun seeing pods. Yeah, that's the newborn energy, the parent energy for these guys has been big. The parent energy among the Oilers has been a big thing. We've seen it before from guys like Stuart Skinner, Zach Hyman, Vasily Podkolzin. So that is fun. That's amazing to see if you're an Oilers fan and you want to see more production step up from this team. So I'm happy. And now you go into Vegas to end this road trip now on a massive high. And again, you just finished off a game. You finished off a game against last night, Utah, getting points against Colorado. You're getting points against teams in your conference, against teams you might be battling for a playoff spot come March, come April. So getting wins against these teams now is a major thing. That's a great sign to get these wins now against teams inside your own conference. It's a great sign for the Oilers. And if you're Chris Knobloch and company, you got to be pleased with that total team effort tonight. It wasn't a 2-man show. It wasn't a 3-man show. This felt like the rest of the team stepping up to help the top line generate chances. And a major thing as well, they quieted down the big guns in Colorado. They quieted down guys like McKinnon, Taves, Makar. Those guys were very ineffective tonight in a game in which we already know Colorado is having a tough start to the season. And it's going to get even tougher for the Avalanche. So if you're Jared Bednar and company, you're probably wondering, what do we have to do to get out of this funk right now? Because usually Colorado gives Edmonton a far tougher challenge. And this is a game in which Edmonton, had their little blip in the first period, but they were able to sort things out and play a very relaxed, very calm game the rest of the way. Also, too, full credit to Stuart Skinner. We'll get to him as well, too, tonight. He had a great game in net tonight for the Oilers. And the Avalanche, right now, the Avs, they're 13-12. They're 13-12 in 4th place in the Central Division. And when this season began, I didn't see Colorado. I mean, no one did. Who had Colorado being a bubble team right now in the Western Conference? And the goal differential is at -12 for the Avalanche. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games, lost 2 straight. They're in a very, very strange place after finishing the first quarter of their season. So if you're the Avalanche, you want some answers. Because you're the team in which you're supposed to be where the Wild are right now. You're supposed to be where Winnipeg is in that Central Division. And right now, you're struggling to keep your head above water. Colorado and Nashville have been 2 of the more surprising teams when it comes to teams that had high-priced players, big names that have just come out of the gate flat in a major way in this season in the NHL. And with the win tonight, Edmonton sits at 13-9-2 in the Pacific Division. So they are now 3 points behind LA Kings for second place in the Pacific Division. And once again, this division, the Pacific Division, I know it can be volatile, but man, I just love that logjam in the Pacific. I love how right now you've got, even teams like the Sharks and Ducks are within striking distance of a wild card spot right now. They're within striking distance of getting third in the Pacific Division. Now, will San Jose or Anaheim get there? No, I don't think so. But I do think it's fun to see that the Sharks and Ducks are in it to an extent. I like the fact that everybody in this division is somewhat competitive, so that's fun. That to me is fun hockey in my mind. That truly is. Massive win for the Oilers as they head off to Las Vegas, Nevada, a place they know well. They know very well. and the Vegas Golden Knights team that has become one of their rivals over the past few years. I love seeing Edmonton Vegas when they match up. And Vasily Podkolzin in the advanced stats, going back to pods, he was 17. And when it came to the Corsi stats, for those of you who are Corsi advanced stats, the advanced stats nerds or the advanced stats aficionados, Podkolzin was 17 in Corsi 4, 17 for and 2 against at 5-on-5. Really good numbers in the advanced stats for Podkolzin tonight in this game, in which he's getting better and better and better at 5-on-5, and just his game is going to a new level as he continues to contribute among the Oilers forward unit. With that being said, got a message from our friends at LaRouche. Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page, and we're also working on a page through LaRouche, a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. And I know you want that to happen for us here at Game Over. If you have any ideas for what you'd like to see us give away for giveaways from these crowdfunding efforts, let us know in the comments on Twitter, Instagram, or in our Discord server. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Second period time, y'all. Hope y'all are having a fun and safe Saturday night. So, Stuart Skinner. We have talked about Stu's play quite a bit on Game Over between myself, Graham, Austin, and even going back to prior seasons with Dennis and with Zach. We've talked about Stuart Skinner's play in terms of what he's done as a netminder, as number one goaltender. And this was one of his better games in net. Stu looked composed. He looked calm. There wasn't too much danger around his net. And when there was, he stepped up with some big saves for the Oilers. So I imagine Chris Dahlbuck will go back to him again for the Vegas Golden Knights to end that road trip. And I would imagine you would stick with Stuart going to Vegas. Have Picard play Columbus at home again and go back to Stu for the game against St. Louis. Or maybe ride Stuart for these next 3 games here. But no, Skinner once again stepped up when called upon. And I know we see the talk about getting a different goaltender. Should there be changes? Should they bring in somebody else? You know, I do think that maybe eventually this team does go out and improve the backup position. But I don't think this team is going to go out and trade to bring in someone to play above Stuart Skinner. I really think it's going to be someone you're going to bring in to push Stuart a little bit more. Maybe more than a Cal Pickard can. But this team, I still think is confident in Skinner. But they might bring in a 1B at the trade deadline. So, I mean, you hear rumors, you hear stories about what's happening over the past little while. And we touched on that on last night's show, but no, I was pleased with Skinner's game tonight, and that's what you want to see. Stuart stepping up against teams that you might face in a playoff series, like a Colorado. That is the game you want to see. Finding ways to beat the better teams in the NHL. Those kind of efforts, you want to see more consistently from Stu, because at times he can be very Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to having one night where he's making 25, 30 saves, and other nights where the game just isn't there, and you see his save percentage dip below 900. If you get more of those games where, yeah, he's making the big saves, he's limiting the rebounds, he's finding ways to make the smart plays, then you got a solid goaltender who can be your number one guy for maybe not 60, 65 games, but a guy who can keep you going for 50 to 55 to maybe I would say 58 games over an 82 game season, and then you add in what he can handle come the postseason. But no, that was a quality game, for Stuart Skinner, someone who needed that. And last night against Utah, Calvin Pickard, Pickard did enough. He did enough to keep Edmonton in that game against Utah Hockey Club. So we'll see how these guys respond again when they got to play against the Vegas Golden Knights, a team that's always dangerous, that's always finding ways to roll for dangerous lines, no matter what year it is. That's been their MO. Vegas, no matter what year it is, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2024, the Golden Knights always find ways to have 3 pairings and 4 lines of forwards that you can never, ever, ever, ever sleep on. And an Edmonton-Vegas game, I can't recall the last time an Edmonton-Vegas game was overly boring. I truly do not recall. There was always at least quite a few back and forth chances, or it's always a very entertaining game, or there's fireworks to some extent between these 2 hockey clubs. So I'm excited for that game coming up on Tuesday night. That's going to be a really, really fun one to watch. And of course, remember, tap in with your questions, comments, concerns, complaints. Give those to Andrew. No, I'm joking. But yes, remember, stand by for Game Over later on here on a fun Saturday night. And which is many. As you've seen the NHL schedule, the Oilers, they're playing a lot of games on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights. They're getting so many games on Saturday nights this year. I like it. I like the fact that they're getting those Saturday night slots a lot. I know in years past, people have wondered why haven't the Oilers been getting a lot of HNIC games on Saturday nights. And you know what? The networks heard you. They're getting a lot of games right now in prime time, and it's well deserved. It truly is well deserved for this team. I mentioned the depth, other guys who contributed. I mentioned Kapanen. We mentioned Brett Kulak, Ty Emberson. He has found his way nicely on this Oilers roster. I wrote about him for the Hockey News. You're seeing Ty Emberson get more and more and more comfortable on the Edmonton back end, being a stabilizing presence when he's playing with Brett Kulak. And remember, those first few games, Edmonton, you could see that he looked a little bit nervous. He looked like he was trying to figure things out, how to respond, where to go in Edmonton. Physical, very physical. That's one thing I've always liked about his game. He's a very physical D-man. But you're seeing him get more comfortable in his own end, wants to develop a more offensive game. He's mentioned that beforehand. But if Ty Emberson can keep this play up, he's going to be in Edmonton for a very long time to come. He's just so steady when he's playing with Brett Kulak, another guy who is, once again, that is, to me, that is right now one of the more steady depth pairings in all of hockey. Disagree, agree, I think Kulak-Emberson is one of the more steady pairings in all the NHL. To me, it really is. I love what these guys do as a pairing. They don't make a ton of mistakes when they're on the ice together. So I am happy as to what they bring on the ice together. I truly am happy as to see what these guys do as a deep pairing. So it's fun. It is fun. It's great to see what they can do on the ice together as we get ready to continue here on Game Over Edmonton. But remember, when Game Over Edmonton wraps up, when you're ready to get your week going again, when you're ready to get your week started on Monday, don't forget, there's more to Game Over. We got Game On, Monday to Friday. Game On has you covered. And remember, you want to make sure you're up to date on all the stories around the hockey world. So Graham Mosimann, in a 10-minute or less show, goes through all the big hockey topics, Monday to Friday, from the Oilers, the Canucks, the Flames, the American teams. He got a nice, concise show for you to let you know what's going on around the hockey world. Stories you might know about, stories you missed. Game On, Graham got you covered. On our YouTube channel for Game Over, and on podcast form, and you can find us all on the GameOverNetwork.com. Game On with Graham. Tremendous stuff. Tremendous stuff. That's right. Tremendous and tremendous, however you say that word. However you say that word. Third period here as we start to wind things down slowly on Game Over Edmonton. Hopefully you had a fun night watching this game wherever you watched it at, either at home, at a restaurant with some friends, outside. Maybe you watched this game on a plane. Maybe you were traveling and you were tapped in to Game Over. Who knows? Who knows? People watch this content in a variety of places, so it's always fun tapping in with y'all. It's always fun coming on here, doing the post-game stuff. And in this win, and not only did Edmonton come in and beat Colorado, you're seeing Edmonton getting more confident with these games on the road. Edmonton goes into Colorado, a place in which over the past little bit here, Colorado in Denver has given them a bit of a hard time. But the Oilers step up and win in Denver, a place in which you've seen Edmonton at times struggle to find consistency against the Avalanche, and I don't blame them. Winning in Colorado isn't exactly easy, but that was a big character win for this team to step up and get 2 big points on the road in a very hostile environment. I'm looking at the NHL standings right now. Looking at the Oilers road schedule, road standings. Edmonton right now on the road. Edmonton on the road is 8-3-1 compared to at home where they're 5-6-1. They are a very good team on the road. They got 8 wins on the road. That's second best in the division. Only Vancouver has 8 or more wins on the road. Aside from them, Vancouver's best record in the division on the road with a mark of 9-2. But yeah, the Oilers, they are proving themselves to be some real road warriors early this season. And in their last 10 games, Edmonton sits with a mark of 7-2-1. So even though the consistency has hampered Edmonton at times, they're finding ways to put up points when they're outside of Rogers Place, which, when you think about that, is a very funny thing because you figured Rogers Place would have been Edmonton's cathedral. You thought that would have been a very tough place to win in, but so far Edmonton hasn't put it together at home, which is strange to see how they've struggled to get wins at home. They're sub 500 at home, which is a thing that I didn't really expect. I'm sure most people didn't expect to hear me say Edmonton is sub 500 at home, but they got a few games coming up. They can change it. They can get things back on track when they're playing Columbus at home. They're playing St. Louis at home. And that St. Louis game, that's going to be a game in which I've already seen the talk about, oh, it's Broberg coming back. It's Holloway coming back. Now, I said it before. I do feel that this team should have found a way to at least keep Dylan Holloway. Philip Broberg's offer sheet, to me, was more like, I wasn't as sold on keeping Philip Broberg as much as I was Dylan Holloway. I thought Holloway brought a lot of speed to the forward pairings, had good hands. He would have come in handy on this roster. He would look really great on this roster right now, considering how much speed you lost with losing McLeod, Fogle. So I thought you need to keep at least one of those speed burners for depth scoring. But Dylan Holloway's having a great year in St. Louis, so I wish him the best. One of my favorite interviews in all the league. Great guy, very quotable. So I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more of those narratives on what if they kept Broberg? What if they kept Holloway? When the Blues come to Edmonton next week, those stories are gonna be popping up in a major way. And granted, it is a fair question to ask, because how often do you really see a team lose 2 players to a different team to 2 different offer sheets in the exact same offseason? That is such a rare thing. It doesn't happen. Doug Armstrong, he went big game hunting. He said, you know what? I'm going to go all in. These are the guys I want. Try me, Stan. It's a bold move in which, I gotta applaud Doug Armstrong because teams don't go in and get that aggressive on offer sheets ever. It's rare. And for two guys on the same team, can you recall the last time someone offer sheeted two guys on the same team in the same offseason? I can't. Doesn't happen. Offer sheets almost always get rejected. And this instance, it was a play that worked out for the Blues. Worked out in a major way, and it's paying off for them, so good for the Blues. I know it's a tough year for them in the Central, but I think St. Louis will find a way to turn things around. But that Central Division, man, you talk about log jams, that's a bloodbath right there, but it's fun to watch either way. It is fun to watch. You know what else is fun? Getting some Game Over merch. Yes. Get yourself some Game Over merch. What do you want this holiday season? Do you want a mug? Do you want a sweater? Do you want a t-shirt? Because, hey, we got you covered, baby. We got you taken care of. What better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you want to feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, currently on sale, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee or tea to get you through the winter season, we got you covered. Designed by Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on stream now, that QR code you see, and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. It's all beautiful stuff. Look at that. I gotta get myself some gear. It's long overdue for me to get myself some gear and support our brand. Yes. Tap in, hit the QR code, get some fun stuff for Christmas. Get a Christmas gift for yourself, your uncle, your auntie, your dog even. Why not? All right, overtime, y'all. We wind things down on Game Over Edmonton. All right. So we do have a couple of comments here before we sign off for the night. Janice McKay mentioned, I can see the Oilers making a nice push and end up finishing second. Yeah, I think that's what Edmonton's going to do. I think Edmonton is going to finish the year second place in the division. I think behind Vegas this year. I think Edmonton is going to finish behind Vegas. I know some would say, oh, why not win the division? I don't know. I don't see Edmonton winning the division this year. They haven't done it in, 38 years now. Just for some reason, this team just can never get that start right enough to win a division. But hey, finishing in second place would either way, that would be fun. It would be fun to see. And I saw Janice commented also too. Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, Edmonton doesn't play well in Colorado. She meant to comment here. So it's real nice to see them get a decent win. Yep, it's true. Edmonton does not win often in Colorado. This is a place they struggle in. Much like how a decade ago, Edmonton never used to win in Boston or in Madison Square Garden. Those were 2 guaranteed losses a decade ago. And right now, Colorado's been that kind of fortress for them, holding L's lately. But getting a win in Colorado, strong game. Hopefully a big turning point for this season going on. So, anyways, that's all. That's it. That's a wrap. Thank you all for tapping in once again to Game Over Edmonton. And please, if you like the show, support all of our channels, support all 7 shows, support Game On, support Hyperdrive Hockey. We're trying to rebuild local independent media in Canada and giving you some quality sports talk in the mornings, before games, after games. We're doing our best here to reestablish the ecosystem of sports talk in this country. Anyways, I'm Avry. I'm out. We're back with more Game Over next week for the Oilers when they take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. Oh, sorry. When the Oilers take on the Vegas Golden Knights. My bad. Skip the Golden Knights game. We mentioned that game all night long and I skip it now. Whoops. We're back with Edmonton Vegas talk. Anyways, I'm Avry. I'm out of here. Talk to y'all again soon. Have a safe and fun Saturday night. Get turned, but not too turned. Don't drink and drive. Later.